President Xi Jinping has gone too dang far this time. Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News. And okay, so clearly President Xi went too far a long time ago. In many of my reports on rebelnews.com, I've drawn attention to the persecution that religious groups such as the Muslim Uyghurs, Falun Gong practitioners, Tibetan Buddhists, and Christians have endured by the hands of China's authoritative government. That's why President Xi's regime's quest to rewrite the Bible and the Quran to match his communistic ideology may be evil, but really isn't all that surprising. You see, the Communist Party of China not only loathes religion, it's scared of it. When too many people have faith in something bigger than China's government, the goal then becomes to oppress and control that particular religious community. Yet even so, the atheist nation just can't seem to force all of its people to be, well, atheists. In September, The Economist reported that while most of those who are religious in China practice traditional Chinese religions, such as Taoism and longer-standing foreign imports such as Buddhism, Protestant Christianity is probably the fastest-growing faith with at least 38 million adherents today, which is up from the 22 million adherents counted a decade ago. Now, keep in mind, that's with many Christians and their congregations having to go underground to practice the religion. Not even Zoom Bible studies are safe for Christians in China. Earlier this year, North American pastors struggled with whether or not to have a drive-in Easter service due to the government's COVID-19 orders and recommendations. Meanwhile, in China, several key members of the heavily persecuted Early Rain Covenant Church were taken away from their homes after worshiping during an online Easter meeting, according to persecution.org. Now, who knows? Maybe dictator Xi thought to himself that since threatening the livelihood of Christians isn't enough to stop the growth of Christianity in China, he may as well rewrite the morals that Christians live by. Late last year, China's state-run Xinhua news outlet reported that Chinese political advisors joined a symposium in Beijing to discuss how to advance the interpretation of religious doctrines and rules in line with the requirements of the times. The symposium was reported to have included 16 political advisors from religious circles, experts and scholars, and religious people from the grassroots level, but I suspect that those invited were already pre-vetted to be those who share the politically correct ideology. And when you see this next example of the blasphemous madness that the supposed diverse thinking group is apparently okay with, I'm sure you're going to agree as well. Now, religious or not, you probably are familiar with the moral lesson found in the book of John, when the scribes and the Pharisees bring a woman who had been caught in adultery before Jesus and give him a test of sorts by asking him what should be done with her. In the book of John, chapter 8, verse 5, they said to Jesus, "The law Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. Now, what do you say?" Then further down in the scripture, it reads that Jesus said, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground, and at this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." Now, that's a great moral, right? I mean, after all, none of us are perfect. Yet in the twisted Chinese state-approved version of this scripture, Jesus is to be remembered as a murderer. In September, True North reported that when translated into English according to the UCA News, a Chinese state-run university textbook reads that after the crowd left Jesus and the woman alone, Jesus stoned the sinner to death, saying, "I too am a sinner, But if the law could only be executed by men without blemish, then the law would be dead. Can you believe that? And that garbage is what the university students who are on their way to shaping the future of China are reading. So what are your thoughts about all this? Did you know this was happening? And are you at all surprised that it is? Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. Here at Rebel News, we still haven't forgotten that two of our Canadian brothers, Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, are being held illegally in a dark prison cell in China when they should be home next to their loved ones. Please head to freethetwomichaels.com. That's where you can help cover the costs of our senior human rights lawyer that we hired to file an official complaint to the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights in Geneva to put some pressure on China regarding this, since Justin Trudeau clearly seems to be not interested in doing so.